Tonight's meeting, inlet wetlands, Tuesday, September 11th. Just before we start the meeting, just like to say something about what happened 6 years ago, the tragedy, all the family members and friends, people lost, and always thinking about them. So tonight's agenda, starting off with a consideration of August 28th minutes. Yeah. Anyone have any changes or?
Actually, I believe I have a comment. Under the Farm River Estates, the public hearing has been rescheduled till October 9th rather than September 25th. Now, even though it reads here, because that's what was decided and that's the way it went at the last meeting, it is going, just as a FYI to commissioners and the general public, it is scheduled for October 9th. There were some...
What paragraph are you looking at?
I am on page 3, 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down. Motion made by Commissioner Ross to conduct a public hearing. But it's actually going to, like I said, that's what happened, but that's not what is going to happen.
Right, scheduled for October 9th.
It'll be October 9th. But that's not a correction that needs to be made, it's just a
Right.
point of order.
Would you like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor to approve the motions?
Aye.
All right. You gonna abstain? One abstention? Two? You weren't here? Two.
So we have
Leslie?
3, 0, 2.
Right. Okay. Correspondence. We have two correspondence today. One's to the town of Orange, and it looks like it's a update of effective flood and insurance study maps. I guess it's, do you have to order these maps, or do you have one?
There is an effort being put forth to, the vertical datum that is used right now is from 1929, and there is a North American switch to go to 1988.
Getting close.
Yeah, getting closer. But interesting enough, when this was handed to me to do some research on it by our first selectman, and I have to call these folks tomorrow because we don't, almost everything I found deals with tidal. And the benchmarks that are being used are all related to tidal waters. And the benchmark that's actually being used for this vertical datum from 1988 is somewhere in Canada, and it's a single benchmark that's going to be used for all of North America. So I'm not sure that we're going to be able to lend any assistance with providing information that they've asked for, but certainly I'm going to make some phone calls tomorrow based on the extensive amount of time I spent today researching this and see if I have interpreted this wrong, or whatever it is we need to do that we can help to.
I hope that benchmark is securely put so nobody moves it. I'll pass this around in case you want to take a look at it. Oh, everyone has one?
Yeah, everybody has one
Okay.
of those. It just wasn't so much paper to kill too many trees this time.
All right. Okay, second correspondence, it's 2007 Municipal Inland Wetland Commission Training Program. Looks like it's more for Mashtaka Pequot Tribal Nations Environmental Management and Wetland Mitigation and Vernal Pool Ecology and Monitoring. If anyone's interested on the commission, assume there's money to go.
There is money in the budget for both.
Okay, I'll pass this around. Everyone has this too? I don't remember seeing this. Oh, you mean you put them in front of them? Okay, I knew it wasn't sent in the mail. Okay, new application. For receipt, Beach Lawn Terrace. Do we actually have
We
one?
do not.
Oh, I was gonna say.
We do not. We gave them until yesterday by statute, and still nothing.
So we
And
gave
there
us
is
an extension? No?
No extension.
Okay, so I assume that's gonna be scratched off then.
It's going to be a resubmittal when the time comes and go through the process all over again.
Okay. For discussion, 659 Estelle Court, lot number 7. Is anyone here? Come on up.
Lot 7 is part of Whitney Acres. This commission approved that entire 7-lot subdivision about a year or so ago. This is one of the lots that contained wetlands, so it needed to come back before the commission for review. Mr. Olson is here.
My name is Peter Olson. I am the owner of Lot 7 Estelle Court, or Lot 7 Whitney Acres. I'm here tonight asking for site approval. Several things have changed since the original approval. Right now, I'm going through the process of transferring roughly 2¼ acres of property that was part of Estelle Court for roughly a ¼ acre of property that the town land trust owned. And basically what I'm giving them is I'm giving them all the wetlands in the back of the lot, plus the 50-foot, at least 50 feet of the buffer zone from the wetlands, and a portion to the north, Estelle Court. In return, they're giving me this little triangle here, which this does is now I don't have to extend the cul-de-sac to have a turnaround. I can come right off of the turnaround of Estelle Court, which now, on the original site approval, I came close to the wetlands with the fill. Now I do not have to do that. Along with giving them the town land trust, this property, I also gave them a conservation easement on lot 6A and 6B of all the wetlands and the 50-foot setback. Also, when I had the turnaround, there was a possibility, I had one lot approved, and there was a possibility of getting another lot approved, so now I'm just going for the one lot. The house is situated right where the original approved lot was going to be, and the septic is right where the original septic was approved. So I think after doing all these changes, if anything, I definitely decrease the amount of effect that it would have on the wetlands. Is there any questions?
You also gave that 10-foot strip all the way out to Lambert Road to the land trust
Oh,
too, didn't you?
No, I gave that, they wanted me to resolve this problem because the original owner had, well, two things I did there. There was originally a 50-foot strip in here, which the gentleman on Lambert Road, his driveway was on my property. We worked out a deal. I gave him that property back. I also gave a 10-foot, this property also includes a 10-foot walking trail, so if somebody wanted to come and walk the property, they could come down from Lambert Road, walk out, and then actually come right out on Royal Lane, because now the property that the land trust has butts into Royal Lane.
and still into a stealth court. Because that was an existing land trust piece.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Are you creating a walking path or just?
I'm giving it to them, it's up to them if they want to put a walking trail or anything.
So that is the land trust?
Right now, we came to terms, we're just, the attorneys are getting the language right for the conservation easements. Looks like they made progress. Hopefully, we'll be able to exchange the property probably next week. And I guess, before the town actually purchased the Ewing property, or Rich Teller's property, there might have been, Gary approached me, because if he got this 50-foot strip, he might have gotten another building lot over here, so that was, the land trust was very interested in this piece, to try blocking, getting an extra lot over there.
Is this also part of his
Yep.
proposal?
It's in the middle of the driveway, is where they ran the roof drains. And also some of the driveway pitch in, and it seemed like a good time to try to see if we get a rain garden on an individual parcel to manage stormwater runoff. And this is Noakosco, Beamanchow, and Kane's creation.
This driveway is just for the house, correct?
Correct.
I mean, the circular part.
Yes.
This lot was already approved once before. The lot was already approved once before, though. Why did it change? For what reason?
I had to come back, with the approval, I had to come back with every lot separately, because they were just proposed houses. So now I'm coming back with the actual house that's going to be built there.
Diana, what do you, the rain garden part here is a little bit sketchy on detail as to what's going to go in it, but I was also looking at the planting detail up at the top of the page. Here, there's another one right here. I know that's an area that,
Yeah, we can't tell if those are native, so we need the species names, and they need to be native plants.
Okay.
I have a question about the disturbance behind the house. This, I was out here in the spring, and it really serves as a breeding ground for amphibians. So although you don't have a direct impact, anytime you impact the watershed of what is essentially a vernal pool in this area, I mean, it's not exactly, but it serves as such, you're going to impact the water quality. And a couple of points is, one is the temperature of the water. You want to leave the trees there so that
Well,
the...
that's what the land trust wanted, the 50-foot, so I couldn't cut any of the trees down in the 50-foot.
That's, for a vernal pool, that's a good start, but it's not really sufficient. So what I wanted to find out is how much are you actually proposing to disturb in this area? I see a silt fence here, but it doesn't really identify what's going on between the silt fence and the septic system and on top of the ridge and then over in this area.
What we're typically going to do is, to get the grading back in here, because we're going to try leaving the contours, it's going to be a walkout basement. The area up to here is going to be, we're going to try leaving all the natural rock and everything, at least that's what the people that want to buy the house, they kind of want to try leaving it natural, so there's a lot of ledge outcroppings. So this area will be cleared. They kind of want to keep a buffer zone in here, but this also has to get cleared for the septic system area. Down in here, there's not a lot of tall growth in here. We're going to try leaving the bigger trees up in here.
Okay, so on top of the rock ledge, I can see where there's some grading, but in the area where you're leaving the ledge, is there going to be disturbance of the vegetation up there, or are you going to try to keep that as it is? Right up in that area.
There's basically big rock outcroppings. I mean, they want to kind of try leaving it interesting back there, you know, with the rock outcroppings.
Yeah.
There's a couple pine trees there, but it's not really wooded right around the outcroppings.
I guess what I'm getting at, are they going to be putting gardens in, lawn, that sort of thing around the rock ledge, or are they just going to try to leave it the way it is?
They probably will put some kind of lawn around the lawn, so they, you know, because this is going to be a walkout basement, so they're going to have some kind of lawn coming up to the ledge.
What about up in this area? What direction? The north corner?
Up in here,
No, over, yeah, that corner right
all this,
behind the house. Not the land trust property, but that triangle between the ledge, the house, and the land trust property.
Test hole 140.
all the way up in here. I mean, nothing's going to happen up in this corner.
Okay, is that going to remain treed?
Yep.
Okay. Do you think they would consider not disturbing the ledge just to the top of slope so that side of the watershed then will be maintained as the natural vegetation? You see where kind of the top is? Yeah, go to the top of the ledge. The highest point on that?
Right in here.
Yeah, like right in there.
Well, I mean, we've got, the footing drains are coming out here, so I mean, basically where the sill fence is, you know, I'm not going to go beyond the sill fence. I've got to come out here to get the footing drain.
Yeah, I know you've got to get the footing drain out there, but I would hate to see a lawn go there if they wouldn't mind leaving it natural on that watershed side, because that's going to help with the water quality that's washing into the, you know, the wetland there.
I think everything's pitched this way.
Not from the top of the ledge back.
Look at elevation 190, Diana, and I think that would be a good area, I think, is what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And use that as your clearing limit coming from the property line south towards that knob that falls in the 184 contour.
Right, there's
I
a
think that's what you're
186,
trying to
yeah,
accomplish.
yeah, from the 190 across there. Now, if they're not going to disturb anything over west of the 190, that's great. The more you can leave the existing vegetation, the better. And if you can go to just close to the top of the ledge and leave the existing vegetation as much as possible, you know, I know you've got to put the curtain drain in there, but around that's going to be better for the water quality.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going in, you know, where the sill fence is, I'm not going any further than what the first plan was, you know, approved. I just don't want to kind of limit these people to exactly what they could do.
Are you going to need a silt fence on the northeast side of the grading there, 190, 188, 186? I don't see a silt fence there.
That's the high point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it only goes up to 184.
I mean, I typically surround everything that I disturb with silt fence. I mean, on the plan they show here, but I usually put silt fence all the way around what I disturb.
Okay, so you'll put it up there when you do that.
It's usually there.
Okay.
But if you notice the driveway, there's a flat spot to be able to get the water from the north wetland pocket on the land trust land there to come across and be able to recharge the wetland is to the east of the proposed house. So it was, rather than run the footing drain out that way and do all that disturbance, it was decided to run the driveway in such a manner to direct the water not only from the rain garden but also the sheet flow. So that whole regime should remain almost identical to what it is today.
When you're saying follow 190, I mean, 190's up in here, right? I mean, I'll stay,
Actually, I would like to see the least amount of disturbance right there as possible. And then, but from the 190 where you start the grading, you see where you start the grading, over to the top of that ledge.
because this is going down. I mean, these outcroppings stick way up in the air.
Yeah, but you can see which way the water flows. If you go back from right when the grading starts up to the ledge, where it says ledge typical,
Yep.
that's about at 184. If you can leave that side of it
Yeah.
towards the wetland undisturbed. That would be better, because that's where the water breaks, up in there, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the water going towards the wetland then is going through the natural vegetation.
Is this driveway curbed? Or is it just gonna be,
It's all
I know it's,
pitched in up in here. No, because it's got a kind of sheet flow from the land trust property now. Everything goes here, so the driveway comes down and dips. So everything from here won't get dammed up. It kind of runs right across
right
the
across?
driveway.
Okay.
You know, we thought that was best if the commission wants me to raise up the driveway and put a pipe underneath it, but we were figuring, you know, it'd be better to sheet flow right across. There would be less disturbance if we were, you know, instead of building up the grade.
I think the sheet flow is good, but you may have to be careful if they do put salt on the driveway there, it's gonna get in that rain garden, and some plants won't tolerate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the sand is going to act as a much better filter medium around these perforated pipes to create this leak-off area. And it'll be easier to maintain for the homeowner rather than putting in stone, which I think is a lot heavier, harder for people to shovel. And the sand will also help to attract some of, well, even the salt to some degree once it starts to get a little sediment in it. But later on, it'll be much easier.
Oh, where it says option or sand bed?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you got actually three: riprap, three-quarter stone, or sand bed.
You're gonna need a coarse sand, right?
Of course, sand, but
Right.
it'll pick up some. It'll pick up a lot of the fines much better, and be easier to maintain, I think, than riprap or stone.
Mm-hmm.
And also give it somewhat of a, the plants a little bit of a medium to take hold in.
That's fine.
Plant lady, you concur? So we'll have sand at rain garden.
I don't know if I emailed you a PDF I had of rain garden construction, and it had the, like a cross-section of where the sand goes and everything. I'll see if
You
I
may
have,
have, there's just so many of them out there.
yeah.
It all depends upon, again, who's the designer and
Yeah.
what part of the country it's in, and
Yeah.
who likes what plants.
Yeah, I think sand, though, is what I've seen.
Sand is
Yeah.
typically, I think, the better
Yeah.
medium, especially, again, where you've got typically somebody that's probably going to be maintaining this with a shovel. So sand for rain garden.
Any
And
other-
then the one plant, there's suggestions of the different types of plants up on top.
Yeah, these are the plants that we need the scientific names of. I mean, you know, that could be a condition of approval or something, and final approval of the plants. And again, they need to be native because they're going to discharge, the water's going to discharge towards the wetland, so we don't want to be discharging non-native seeds and that sort of thing towards the wetland.
Well, Acer rubrum is a red maple, so that would be the,
Yeah, that's fine.
and the,
I'm not sure about if this is an azalea native to Connecticut or,
the rosebud azalea, the rhododendron paris.
I'm thinking that may be native,
Menendocus.
but I'm not positive. And I don't know what the grasses are. Tufted hairgrass, and I don't know what the dischamps, now that's actually a scientific name, and I don't know what that one is.
Just
I have to look that one up.
So yeah, I'll have to look that one up. I will just have to make sure that all these plants are native. But clearly the red maple is, and I'm not sure, that's gonna be a big tree in the middle of this driveway. Which is gonna actually make it harder to maintain with all the leaf litter. So it may not be the optimum.
Oh, that's just a suggested plants.
Optimum tree to put there. You want something that, even the azaleas, I mean, they just create so much litter that I'd be concerned about this thing clogging up. We'll have to use this as our test case.
Well, if they maintain it, it won't be bad. You know, so who knows? Any other concerns? That's probably, is that 140? About 60 by 60?
It's like 35 around.
35? Yeah, 70 feet then?
It's a good-sized swimming pool.
Would anyone care to make a motion? Basically, they only have 3 rows of 2-inch PVC perforated. Seems pretty small, the pipe, no?
Well, it only needs to treat the first
Right,
flush. After that, at some point, I think it's going to overflow.
right.
I think that's basically what we used in the detention basin over on St. John's also,
Same thing, yeah.
because it took me a hard time to find 2-inch perforated pipe. I had to make it.
Well, they sell it.
What?
They sell it.
I looked everywhere.
Yeah. Any other concerns?
I got one. I'll make a motion to approve. Let's see, with the following conditions. 1, 2, don't think we need 3, right? Engineering firm?
I would put it in there.
Okay, 3,
Put it in there.
5. Tell me if I'm missing one you think we should put in.
I think we're set with number 6. In fact, I know we are. That was done as part of the original subdivision and also now part of the, there's a whole another set of easement languages for that.
9, let's see, 8,
8.
septic system. 9,
That's it.
10, you want 10? The asphalt?
Yes.
Okay. And then also, I'd like to add a condition that any plantings in the rain garden need to be native.
And how about limit of clearing, at least under our control at this point for the, from the 190 contour that you brought up before?
Yes, and I think that's pretty much what they're gonna do, but it's, decrease the limit of clearing at least to the top of, well, to where that ledge is typical, if possible, and pull that back a little bit. But I don't know that, how much we want to actually require.
It goes right into the house.
Put them this way. I want to make sure that we all understand this the same way. 190 contours here, just bring it in towards this ledge, is what I'm assuming you're referring to.
And then across to the other,
To here?
yeah.
That one's tough, because you're going to disturb the whole area. with-
Well, yeah, he's gonna have to disturb for that, but if he can do it on the other side also at that point, down, see how that silt fence is down the ledge? Down the side, if that could be moved up just a little bit. Let's see, what the contour is that on? It's near the 179, the silt fence going back. So if that could be pulled up to 182 at least, 184, that would be good.
There's going to be a lot, actually, I don't think there's an accurate representation of the silt fence here anyway, because if you notice where the actual septic tank is located, where the cleanout is located, and then before it all gets down to the septic system itself, there's going to be a lot more silt fence out here than is, at least when I get out there, than what's
Yeah.
shown on this plan. So I think that there's going to be silt fence subject to discussion.
Well, basically, I
Okay.
stake out the clearing limits, and you review that before I cut down the trees, right?
Right.
So, I mean, once I stake out the clearing limits, you and I will get together before I start clearing anyways.
Right. I mean, sometimes they have to clear before the silt fence goes in, but in this particular instance, it is not heavily treed in this area, coming down towards at least any major caliper of trees. So there's a lot that we can do to make all this accomplish what goal you're trying to accomplish without too
Okay.
much trouble.
Okay, so, yeah, if you go out and
Excuse me.
work that out together to try to get, as much of a buffer here is reasonable.
So fencing clearing limits, field located.
Are these points, the 50-foot boundary for the Orange Land Trust in? Are they gonna put them in or no?
They're all in.
They are all in? So the homeowner knows
The monuments are all in.
the monuments are all in?
Yeah, because basically that's the land, I marked out my corners,
Right,
so those are my corners.
so they're all in already?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want to put the restriction of salt on the driveway as part of the maintenance of the rain garden?
I don't know how you can do that and be, without having it be a town-wide ordinance. You're really restricting, you're targeting a specific driveway here that, I think that could be opening up a can of worms for us.
But just the snow that gets trapped onto your car from the roads is gonna be salty.
Yeah, so you really, there is molasses-based de-icers that are out there that certainly, alternative measures could be looked at, but I don't believe we can make that a condition of approval.
Can't we just include that, though, as options in the maintenance portion of the rain garden? So at least the homeowner is aware of other options?
Well, it's Commissioner Ross's motion, so she has to decide
Well-
what she wants to put in there.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to, I think it could be a suggestion, but to actually prohibit that. I'll go ahead and stick with that, and then we can have a second, then we can discuss.
I'm sorry?
I'll go ahead and stick with the conditions I have, then if we have a second, then we can discuss.
We have a second? Second.
Leslie, second?
Leslie did. Discussion?
The reason I was talking about the salt was mainly because I wanted to make sure they got plants that would survive in there, that if you just put any kind of plant in there, it may have a problem. So they may have to experiment a little bit, but some salt may make it over to this wetland, but I think there's a pretty good distance that it's probably going to get taken up in the soil, hopefully, before it gets there.
Well, I mean, the builder could just suggest to the owner, saying, salt might kill the plants in this area, just,
Yep.
Yeah, but the problem here is that the town is going to go around this cul-de-sac with probably straight salt.
well, that's what I'm saying.
So, I mean,
Because it's
they
gonna
would-
get caked onto the car, and as they drive in, it's just gonna keep falling onto their driveway.
The
It's,
state has actually gotten away from the sand because of all the problems the sand causes in the rivers, and it's, causing the deltas and
Right.
and the like, so they're going to straight salt. So it really is,
they're not gonna stop it.
it's a losing battle as far as that goes. There certainly has been probably 35 years of study along Route 95, just in this area of New Haven and Bridgeport, for salt-tolerant plants, and I don't think anything's held up too well. I mean, it even wipes out Phragmites. So,
I mean, you're only talking 2 or 3 cars, it's,
yeah.
Yeah, I just think they may want to consider putting some salt-tolerant plants in here,
Right.
because if they start losing plants and they can't seem to find any that work, then it's because of salt, then they're going to give up on the rain garden, so I want it to be successful, so.
okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions? All in favor? All right. It's unanimous.
Motion carries.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, 270 Arnold Lane.
270 Arnold Lane is not going to be heard. It is for a septic repair
You guys saw that.
The sanitarians have not approved the repair yet. So it seems rather moot at this point for us to even look at it until sanitarians decide exactly what it's going to be, where it's going to end up, and how it's going to possibly or maybe not impact.
Well, the strange thing about it, I don't know if you saw it, but looked like there was a buried underground pool. I was just wondering if they ever tore it up, because you put a septic over a pool, it's just gonna pool up on the ground.
There's a lot of issues out there.
Right?
A lot of issues.
Did you see
out
that? I don't know if you noticed. No.
there. Yes,
Gotta study the plans.
lots of issues.
So maybe that was the issue. Right? See it? So sometimes they just fill them in and they're not, broken.
Is there an extra copy of that?
270 Arnold?
I never got it.
These are from last week, you weren't here, yeah.
Yeah, we have them. I don't know if I have one this one.
Okay. Well, when that comes back in, they'll probably change the plan, so we could go to old business.
Old business, I want to bring up something that was part of the minutes again, but with 415 Pine Tree on page 2 of our previous, the last condition of approval, that was also for the septic repair, the existing 4-inch drain pipe. There was some question about whether that was going to be removed or not, and
Right.
we were going to consult with the sanitarian. The existing 4-inch drain pipe will be removed. So that was a clarification that we were looking for, and that has been clarified, and it was made part of the minutes as it shall be removed.
Okay.
Under old business. Under enforcement officer's report, I can only say that I was told this week that a soil scientist has been brought on board for the Cuz Acres parcel, and I don't know what the scope of the work is at this point at all, of what the soil scientist is going to do or what he's being paid to do, and I'm hoping to have some answers about that fairly soon so I can get.
Then they have like 30 days to come up with a plan or something like that?
They had 6 days to get people on board and then 30 days to come up with a plan, but I'd like to have a much more advanced notice as to what's going on with that prior to, just to make sure that things are going in a direction that I certainly hope we all will. That's it for me.
That was it? Any other items, anybody? No?
Last week, we talked about a catch basin with some filter fabric in it on the corner of 121 Grassy Hill and Route 34. And I just happened to look at it when I was at that light, and it looks like it's damaged or missing.
The silt sack. Yeah, I have that note here, and that was at the end of the
Well,
meeting.
there's 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, there are a couple of them up there,
Right.
so I'm not sure which one.
Right at the corner where it says no turn on red going east.
East.
Yeah.
Well, I know they were there, and they were
There was a
filled to the
big
top.
pond several rainstorms ago, and then maybe some, I don't
Well,
know,
it could've
I got a
caved-
good look at it.
could've
It looked
caved
like
in.
maybe it just, the remediation for the pond might have been a razor blade.
Well, yeah, the state would have come along and just punched a hole in it with a pipe before,
Right, it's-
rather than remove it.
Yeah, if it's heavy rain, yeah, that's what they'll do. Because they were caked when I saw them, yeah. I don't know.
Well, they obviously weren't removed in time. Well, we haven't had any rain.
So is that an ongoing project, or is that an old,
No, that needs to be,
That's for the construction entrance.
Right.
Those guys
it needs
going
to
in
be
and out.
readdressed
So,
and
okay.
reaffirmed, and
making sure?
it has to get cleaned out. But yes, I did have that on here,
I
and
think it only rained today,
Today.
since we talked about it, yeah. I mean, I didn't look at it today when it was raining. If it was ponding, I didn't take a look at it. I don't know.
I'll add it again.
Any other things? If not, Walter's not here to make a motion, but someone else could.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second? We have a second. Our next scheduled meeting's for September 25th.